This poem was more or less channeled over a period of 6 weeks in the night in 2006, and I've since added a little bit, tweaked a little bit. It's inspired by Osho's The Golden Future, which was a series of discourses that later became a book. My personal utopia. Hats. Suppose that people still wore hats, small as birds' nests, big as maps, or even shaped like curling cats, purr-activated when we pad. Supposing when the sun shone down, and we strolled to go to town, we placed upon our head some crown, a topiary, a tilt with birds, papier-mâché, just as absurd as we might like. Suppose on hikes we wore a good old Boy Scout type. To sit all day at a cafe, we'd wear a cartwheel on our head, woven tight with straw and thread, made up nice as any bed, a bob with flowers, while we laugh away the hours, while we're watered and we're fed. Supposing girls with lengthy noses could strike patrician pretty poses underneath that plate of roses. Suppose that guys still wore fedoras. Aren't they sexy? I adore to pop one on my happy head, just as if my name was Ned. Suppose that wind and rain and sun were our brothers, every one, and so we'd walk and bike and wade, and all these weather meetings made with some millinery shade. Remember when folks used to hide, each in his own car to ride, and hats were useless as could be, and anyway no one could see the fine confection if we wore it. I really wonder how we bore it. Walking. Suppose that walking trails were laid through lands where land's been apt to fade behind a pall of traffic drear, and keep-out signs announcing fear. Behind the fences barbed taboo and acreage of cattle poo. Suppose instead our steps do wend where we ascend around some bend, a lovely way up over a rise, to gasp as beauty meets our eyes. Mountain, lake, tree, cloud, and town. Then we trickle happily on down to have that drink at the cafe or picnic near the poppied hay. Suppose these trails were everywhere, so all the swale becomes our stair, crisscrossing frequently their lines, with helpful multilingual signs, showing a walker just how near until the next pretty landmark's here. And at intervals along the road, a merry painted bench to goad our warmed-up muscles to sit down and have a blissful look around to see particulars of the view. And then perchance to drink and chew a toothsome snack we've brought along, like natives at a billabong. All governments can send their planners to study the place which has the manners to provide for every citizen's pace in strolling each and every place all over that varied country's face, like lines on an ancient weathered hand. Send the planning man to Switzerland. Don't you think that such a thing as trails to each and everything, whether half an hour or a day, or a week's walk on our way, with stoppings off at inns at night, would be a flower-clad delight? A breeze, a calm, a dancing stride upon the hills so curved and wide. And just imagine how we'd sleep from meandering amongst the sheep. Imagine how our waste would dwindle and creative wellsprings kindle. And do be sure, if you do draw, take a pencil for what you saw. If you're a poet, take a pen. If you're a cook, a little bin to put edible plants and berries in. If you're a lover, take your friend. If you're an athlete, costly shoes to cushion joints as you move. If you're a granny, take your kin. Teach your grandkids to test the wind. Lick a finger, hold it up. and how to tell which berries red might make a munching child dead. If you're a teacher, take a break. Don't pedantificate. Just feel the breeze and how your hips like to move now, not your lips. If you're a grocer, watch the bees, navigate and finally seize crates of yellow pollen fat, then fly it safe back to their vat. If you're a singer, sing away. If you're a physicist, fizz all day. If you're a weatherman, bring a brolly, for thunderstorms do come, by golly. If you're a child, ramble wide and find out where the foxes hide. If you're a housewife, feel the sky and swing your arms. You are outside. If you're a milkman, drink from streams. Milk's really for cow kids, it seems. A doctor, filter streams with screens. Our tummies are parasites' utopian dreams. A ballerina, put on hiking bootu and walk the trails still in your tutu, just to give the folks a thrill whom you meet on yonder hill. An unemployed man will find extraordinary peace of mind, for he alone will not be bothered about some project he has fathered. If you're a preacher, take your hymns, then keep the book closed on a whim. Listen closely to those bees, and how God prays on bended knees, so he sounds like monks a-humming in far Himalayan valleys thrumming, like trains of pollen barrels coming. If you're a fatalist, take your fate. Sit on a slope, anticipate. If you're an optimist, bring your joy, and let the sunburst skies employ all your fingers on their keys to implement the wind in trees. If you're a kitty, take your claws, adhering them to natural laws, pouncing neat on blameless mice that are nibbling, and behind their paws wee black things like dips in dice. If you're a dog, behave yourself, heeling to your person's leg, then dash away to tumble play, wallowing in wild smells, then use a stump as peeing peg. If you're a flautist, bring your flute. Some folks will like to hear it toot, though personally I would like piano solos on my hike. If you're a trombonist, bring a trombone, sounding like a night train's moan. If you're a guitarist, bring your strings, so you can sit and strum and sing about how folks should shut down war and stop things like Antarctic thaw. If you're a mystic, bring your heart, so that you can be a part of all the nothing round about. If you're a lout, then be a lout, with your shirt tails hanging out and beardy stubble round your mouth. You can scratch yourself and smirk as the folks trot here from work. If you're a wino, bring your wine, so many places to recline. If you're a poet, take your license. I won't have to ask you twice-ence. If you're a giraffe, please bring your neck. If you're a chicken, bring your peck. A carousel, then set up shop, so on you all the kids can hop. If you're a forest, bring your top, like cloud roofs folks so rarely see, inviting bounce, clean, gleamily, laid out like a cobbled tundra, alight with sun, though dim from under. And on such waving green or white, do you not want to spend the night, pillowed on a billowed dune, or even eat it with a spoon? If you're a Sikh, your turban bring. If you're a Brahmin, your holy string. Untouchable, cast off your broom, let someone sweep your living room. Zoroastrian, bring holy fire. If Hasid, your Shekinah lyre. If you're a dervish, bring your feet. A gourmand, bring enough to eat. If you're a Jaina, send your naked monk. If you're a Christian and a thunk, bring your book or you are sunk. If you're a new ager, bring your aura, and tell us all what it is for. If a jeweler, bring amethysts, for decorating all our wrists. If you're a seeker, bring your sack of all the things you're sure you lack. If you're a Quaker, quake away. If you're a shaker, shake, I say. If you're a primitive, bring your paints, and offer daubs to fair-skinned saints. If you're a pirate, bring some pie. A skydive guy, then bring some sky. If you're a Zen master, laugh out loud. If a nihilist, bring your shroud. If you're a pagan, bring an elf. Don't keep them all just for yourself. If you're a Baal mystic, bring verses sweet and strange, and a lively knotted mane, and glowing eyes, and dance to your god-mad song, inviting us to leap along. If you're a Catholic, bring your priest. Invite him friendly to the feast, but keep an eye out if he goes towards playing children, for who knows? If you're a doubter, bring your doubt. Stand up there and shout it out. If you're an atheist, bring your science and help create a new appliance. Are you a scientist, perchance? Teach mathematics fine romance. Invent better things than power plants. Show kids the intricacies of ants. You're a fine part of the human chance. If you're a Shinto, kneel and pray. On shin planks your ancestors lay. If you're a Mormon, morm away. But it's doubtful if you'll hold much sway, for nature does love balanced things, and hoarding wives, like Arab kings, might not buy you heaven's price, just rank discord and pubic lice, though monkeys do the same as you, thus proving Darwin in a trice. And as for this polygamy bit, the most that can be said for it is that while with one wife you meet, the rest don't have to smell your feet. If you're an Anglican, bring your ankle. Wide or narrow, you can rankle on the impropriety of this life, where dogs do lobby for brief wife, and bees serve queens more calm than thine, and people sob and children whine, and I do dance all serpentine. If you're a Zulu, bring your zoo. A lion will pounce upon a moo, leaving all of us to ponder life's big mysteries as we wander. If you're a kid, bring lemonade. Set up a stand in the shade. Offer some to this parade, this multicolored gallopade of folks of every varied sort. I'm sure they'll all be drinking quarts. If you're a spider, be a spy. If you're a fly, I know you'll try to do your best to multiply. If you're a froggy, bring a chum. Frogs are fine with everyone. If you're a tortoise, come on slow. You'll get here after we all go. If you're a monitor lizard, though, you'll need some goats. Do we have those? If you are tactless, don't bring tact. We won't tell you how to act. If you're a penitent, wear a sack. If you're a soldier, don't attack. So far the order was not given. From authority you can't be riven. If you're a toaster, bring some toast for the ones who love it most. If you're a hostess, please do host. If you're a climber, you can climb. Leave the rest of us behind. High, your thinnest, gasping find. If you're a healer, you can heal. A teeny bopper, you can squeal. A thinker, bring your thinking trunk, and think till all is thunk. If you're a vegan, that's okay. There's lemonade to drink all day, and sugar will be optional, since it can lead to root canal. If you're a wastrel, bring your waste, but don't just throw it any place. There'll be a nice recycling bin to put your misadventures in. If you're a friend, then bring a friend. A seamstress, don't bring things to mend, for I'll bet you would enjoy, instead, canoodling with a boy. If you play oboe, bring your O. Nobody will ever know. If you're that singer, you can sing any, all, and everything. Be it short or be it long, sing your own surprising song. A divorcee? There'll be a dive, a cozy den where chances thrive. A widow? Then you're still alive. A fiancé? Then bring your ring, light reflecting on the bling, and wonder, reading your love letter, if some other guy might have been better. A virgin, always on the verge? A call girl, wishing you could purge memories of all those men? Come and walk out on them. A married couple with a grudge? Fight it out now, then, while you trudge. If you're a daddy, bring your brood. It'll do you all some good. While they whine that it's too hard and can't we just play in the yard? If you're a mailman, don't bring mail. The sheep don't care, and foxes hail each other in a different way, but by placing scent where others play. And if your pack was stuffed with bills, nobody needs those on the hills. But if you've love letters to dispense, bring those, for some are in suspense. If you're a pilot, don't despair. There are still some jet trails up there. You can zoom again at last when the walking party's past. If you're a shadow, bring your form to cast about when day is warm. If you're Walt Whitman, Leaves of Grass is your ticket here to pass, and you will understand, I know, that you can leave them where they grow. Just indicate with nod of head. Adequate if you are dead. No need yanking on that grass. Just sit and rest your lovely astral ass. We will celebrate your throne, a wild master. We condone the rafts of passages you wrote on everything from mount to moat. If you're a seagull, bring the sea, though not too very near to me. If you're a crow, then bring your caw. Hummingbird, your aviation law. Pelican, with seagull come, fish thrashing in your beak, yum, yum. Woodpecker, now peck some wood, and find some little grub worms good. Eagle, fly above us all, and pull our hearts a-soaring tall. But if you're a hotshot, famous dude, actor, king, or tycoon rude, you will never be allowed to wander lonely as a cloud. Henchmen, protectors, enemies, all will want to get to see where every step you make is placed. Paparazzi will have raced to post themselves before the dawn, all over nature's living lawn. So watch your dreams and watch your job. If you're godfather, take your mob. If you're a thief, someone to rob. But these will doubtless cumbersome be. Would you not rather just roam free? Leaders. Suppose each leader was allowed just 1 year to be the proud one who is acclaimed so loud. And it's clear 'twould better be a matter of meritocracy. He'd need a lot of good degrees. He'd need to have actually eaten his peas instead of brain-beclogging cheese. She would need to be the queen of bees, intelligence, not simply pedigree, and wisdom to keep the world so free. And then, when that 1 year was done, they'd bow to the next leading one. And it's much better for us all if the one who takes the ball is reluctant to embrace this job so huge, but does with grace. Villages. Suppose that village states were found here and there as hallowed ground, since humans live in them, you see, and in between the forests thick, home to weasel, frog, and tick, home to antler and to claw, had its way in freeze and thaw, lived its panoply out loud, buzz and hum and honking cloud of autumn geese across the sky, and snake and bear and tiger's cry. Suppose the seas were full of fish, octopi and things which squish, hiding out behind a reef, profusion just beyond belief. And in between, the human home leaves these other souls alone, save for conversing on a stair, a mountainside. We stop just there for friendly nuzzlings and rubs with Mrs. Wolf and all her cubs. Then we go home and cook some beans, or their little lentil kin. We've learned how to divest of wind. Suppose each village has a central plaza, where girls sashay and guys go yaza yaza, where various events are held, where grass grows green and there's a bell, but not a churchy bonging thing, a bell which remarks anything, whether celebration or warning sound. Most of all this squares a space at the centre of the place, so that hearts will echo round the heart of town, the centre core, like people too have centres for. As without centres, people go nuts, so with a town, both ways it cuts. The Internet. And yes, we'll still have the Internet, and the World Wide Web, don't fret. They do much work, the game lords for, like shuttlecock and battledore, and in addition there could be a good deal more telepathy. Evening entertainment. Supposing people gathered oft to hold their creativities aloft, and show their friends their paintings bright, or read their poems in the night, or stage a theatre performance, talents blossom, not lie dormant, or sing a song, or instruments play after the fun working day. How deep fulfilling that would be. The heart loves this fertility. The heart loves innocence and shares itself with those who dare, or who just listen as we share. Signals. I have heard in Krakatoa, before its top commenced to blowa, if a man did want to know a girl was on the look, he could read just like a book, the way her scarf was tied. If left, yes. If right, then no, not tonight. In our ashram, we had silence buttons. You pinned on if you wanted nothing to do with talking on that day. You could keep all folks away and go about your conscious lone if you needed. None would moan, complainify, or criticize, or rudely into your business prize. This idea might be expanded, saving much that is demanded from us in the day-to-day, explaining how our land does lay. For it's awful if, polite omitting truth, we say that we feel fine-fitting when in fact our pants we're shitting. Think upon it. If it's fun, signals clear for anyone, understated, modest-like, not blaring out like with a mic. If you wanted hugs, a lot, but interfering questions not, you could wear upon your hair a certain kind of braided knot. If you wanted gossip and had lots of time upon your hands, you could wear a lapis bead on a bracelet wove of reed. If you specially did require not to hear friends' symptoms dire, wear a seed upon a wire. You get the drift, but not really rules, for even fools like we can sense the moment's sitch. It's fun to practice trusting it. Cooking. Suppose that cooking wasn't a chore for every kitchen to be for. Some would be to just make tea or a sandwich for frivolity, but not much more. For kitchens would become the temple for those who love to so assemble food as art and nourishment, not only just to pay the rent. Not every girl and every man is born to cook. So many can just cook up trouble in that room. I won't name names, but some are whom should rarely in a kitchen be. Well, sometimes only, well, like me. And why should their beloved kin have to put up with their food then? It's altogether more humane to let the geniuses have reign over pot and stove and fire, and salad bowl and barbecue pyre. 'Tis so much better, I do think, to let a lover of the sink figure out how best to wash the lettuce and basil for the sauce. Then all the rest of us could work at things we have no urge to shirk, and gather merry as a bunch when it's time to have some lunch. Houses would get cheaper, too, since stoves and stuff could be removed, and kitchens bigger be installed, and special places for chef types all. For there are those who love to cook, and page through picture-laden books, all redolent of casseroles, and pies and stews, and crisp rissoles, all cornucopiaed with fruit, sliced just so to fondly suit the eye as well as appetite. Would not that make your tum feel bright? Rooms. Suppose each person on the planet had her own room. We could sure plan it. A place where he could go to be and feel her own self being free, away from other people's stuff, although you love them well enough. Suppose each one a bathroom nice had, a simple would suffice, but lone, and walled and pottied, with a mirror and some counterbit. But why not expand to a bathroom grand, hexagonal, pink walls and floor, looking over treetops, so let go soars. Tiled bath, a sunk for rest, a tall windowed queen eagle's nest. I think this is the least that we could do for human dignity. Sheets. Supposing that all sheets we got were natural fabrics, linen, cotton, for king bed or for cot. Half polyester makes shitty sheets, spuriously smooth like chemical eats. Jello puddings, cool whip glop, from a clammy polycrop, mixed with cotton not enough. No need to iron, and they're tough enough to last for lives, surviving lots of dumpster dives, Goodwill incarnations many, selling for 200 pennies. And if you put them to your nose, you can smell the dense repose of the fat man lying on, as if on chemical-treated lawn, these sheets as grease deposit grows. Suppose all our sheets were natural fabrics, and if they wrinkle, that's their habit, who the heck is going to care? They're hiding under blankets there, and you can hang them on the line, pull them taut, they'll be just fine. Or take them straight out of the dryer and smooth them fit to wear for choir. Why suffer stinky plastic crap every time we take a nap? Laundry room. Suppose utility rooms weren't in basements, cold, mean, bespidered, dank, inclement, with steep stairs to fall down, rafters to crash your crown, a feeling that the one who washes deserves not more than smelly sloshes. Supposing, instead of cramped and rank, they were constructed as quite swank, a handsome room of palatial size, a temple with a view so wide, over mountain, garden, lake, a table there for tea to take, couches, ironing board never put away, and a young piano man to play while we mended and otherwise tended our clothes and enjoyed dreaming where we'd go in those. Menopause. Suppose when we reach 52, there'd be a herb that we could chew to keep us cool both night and day, taking that darned heat away. A herb which helped us sleep so well, we'd feel as clear as a mountain stream, as lucid as a well-heard bell. And all the wisdom we'd accrued rose as kid-making came unglued, and we would wake from hormones' dream and dance with arms uplifted, for that's when light would silent roar, up and up and up again. The lotus opens, and then, the heart gapes wide, a million petals. The belly glows while citrus settles. For orange is the glow of feeling woman there below. And in any waking interlude, we'd meditate in our own seclude and celebrate the witness of all this thriving midlife buzz. Uniqueness. Suppose that each and every one, under rain or fog or sun, is unique as she or he could be, eccentric, different, and the glee each found in this discovery would keep them happy all life long, as each discovered her own song. If everyone could be himself, might all be nuttier than elves. Freedom. Suppose what anyone says, including me, your way is yours, you must be free. If you look deep, then you will see this means great responsibility. Not as duty, not that way, but consciousness guides you to behave. Just don't think to interfere with anyone else. That should be clear. Eccentrics. Suppose eccentrics bring their tricks, which make their intellect to stick out beyond the rest of us. Eccentrics give us what is worth, accelerating all our birth. Forerunners are they, so maligned, doing things before their time. And if the rest are so perplexed, let us consider ourselves blessed. The more eccentrics we have here, the fun accelerates all year. How boring would life be if we were cookie-cut humanity? Supposing goofballs were rewarded, and none the basic needs of thwarted. So do take note if you are one whose strange ideas pour by the ton. Just don't do any different, not compromise to pay the rent. Life's long enough to find this out. Eccentrics all, hey, jump and shout. Doctors. Supposing healers didn't sneer at techniques other ones hold so dear, and studied for so many years. Supposing all felt there was space for many methods, it's not a race. Suppose that exo and esoteric didn't get so choleric at their differences in notion. Healings really loves devotion, coupled with scientific thrill, as much as analytic drill. Imagine further, if you will. A village pays their doctor's bill if nobody around is ill. If somebody is sick and needy, thin and weak and weedy-reedy, with yellow odors from his gills, and needs a passel of piled pills, then everyone withdraws his pay to the assorted medicos. Nay, we'll give you your salary if you can restore to health this waning man. But until that shining morning, nothing you get. This is a warning. So then, of course, the doctor guys would come appearing in your eyes, tapping at your knees and feet, massaging you so you can sleep, consorting with nutritionists, providing vitamins on lists, making sure the farmers grow oats and greens and sweet potatoes, blueberries and broccoli and asparagus to scent your pea and make into some tonic tea. For if your health is good and strong, doctor can himself live long and put some savings in the bank. But if you're sick, your throat feels thick, and snakes are writhing in your tummy, then doctor, as well as of course your mummy, will have to worry and be tense, for the doc will get no recompense. Girls coming of age. How I wish that someone had told me of the awful bad suffering I might endure by not knowing of a few small cures. Suppose each girl approaching sex would be taught that not to vex the delicate flower of herself, these simple remedies will help. First, let all hands be clean as clean, even if it seems quite mean to make him go and wash his hands. He will do as you command. Second, let lubrication fine be like elder blossom wine, clear and copious to a degree. If that is difficult for thee, buy some stuff at the drugstore, then use it, and then use some more. This will help your tender gait not to be so irritate, which causes tiny rifts in it, invisible but prone to let wee bacteria invade, making it miserable and madder than a trod-on puff adder. You could also try some aloe vera. Next, if love is getting laid, drink a glass of water first, even if you feel no thirst, so that when the thing is done, and I urge you not with speed, cuddle briefly, then sure arise, though you must gently prize flesh from flesh so lovingly, and have a good strong lengthy pee. This, I cannot say enough, is vital to the after-love. It flushes all the baddies out before they've chanced to clone their clout. Then a perfumed end I sight, each languid afternoon or night. Put 2 drops oil of lavender in a near full cup of water, warm and pleasant to the touch, and sluice you with a special cup kept just for this. I recommend one which does not the water bend, which unfortunately would make it send its trajectory to the floor. A measuring cup, just like for flour, will give the water angled power. Lavender is antiseptic, even to a serious skeptic. Then dry you off and go to bed, well peed, well washed, well loved, and, let's presume, well fed. Suppose that, too, the education of the young includes the revelation that sex is not what was once thought, a fantasy-fed, huff-puff lot of misaligning male girls striving, with oft the female not arriving. Suppose that with the necessary tries and passionate beleaguered cries, we taught that somewhere up the path they might want to relax at last, and find a way where female needs were worthy of man's loving heed. This is not found through fantasy. The science is a broad one, then, for how to fit women with men, but worth pursuing, and so deep your lifelong interest it can keep. Thus the young, in their bold writhing, need not the lust god go on tithing, past the time they want to lay barnyard sex back in the hay. There's nothing wrong with wildness. Suppose that first we all get this, and have our time of howling joy, whether we are girl or boy, holding nothing at all on back. But consciousness can unlock paths different to finely tune the message of the honeymoon. This will include esoteric knowledge, supposing it was taught in college, of how the bioelectrics flow between the male and female poles, up and down the human bod, not just the two we give the nod. Thus would women finally know recognition head to toe, breast and belly pouring wide, with all of their sweet love inside. Mistakes. Suppose that what we call mistakes were understood as needed takes in the rush to life's embrace. Suppose we respected all our errors, and the then resultant terrors which upon us came to roost. Suppose a mistake was then a boost to an understanding greater, got always too much later, but really in the nick of time, for timing is a magic rhyme. Courage took us reckless in, chastened we come out again. Just one thing we would amend, not often make the same mistake again. Money. Speaking of banks, suppose that money flowed like warmed-up runny honey, never rotting in a vault, while hungry folks, not their own fault, stood outside with ribs exposed. Suppose that nobody got hosed just because he's not a schemer, but an innocent kind of dreamer, all heart and moony beamer, moseying along in body. Dare you treat this good man shoddy? Suppose that every hoard of cash, in mattress, bank, or diamond flash, or piled up in bachelors' jars, or in the niches of their cars, or lurking deep in mutual funds, liquidized like folks with runs, and ran about the world so fast, giving everybody cash. And suddenly the whole world's rich, and currency flows in every ditch, and goodies sit upon each table, and barest feet will now be able to feel the arch support of shoes while they frisk and dance and move. Old age. I have heard a wise man say, when you are old, hair greatly gray, that's the time to fall in love. Don't just contrive to sadly shove your worthy self upon a shelf, thinking that the best is past. Find someone who makes you laugh, and take her a fistful of wildflowers. This surely is not beyond your powers, and I can tell you I've seen it done, and those old persons still have fun. Dandelions. Suppose dandelions could grow free as you would like to be. For they aerate the soil, you see, with deep taproots and prolific glances and willingness to take their chances, making our lawn, in fact, grow green. They're not our enemies, as you seem to think they are. Also, they've got health-giving properties a lot. They'll tone our liver, flush kidneys, in case with bladder woes we're seized. In spring, when shoots are fresh and young, and agreeable bitterness meets our tongue, perking up our usual salad. And, adding color to this ballad, they're yellow faces of the sun, down here reflected, every one, like sunshine curtains in our kitchen. How did the surfers say it? Bitchin'. To poison them for vanity not only kills the ground, the sea, and puppy dog, and the poor kitty, and of course our children not to mention your own gonads and your woman's glands, egads, and the frogs on lily pads, but undermines our garden goals, like women I've heard whose little toes are cut to fit into pointy shoes, as pointy as violent news. I think dandelions are so pretty, decorating town or city, and I like their bitter tea. The French have named them Frenchily. They call them pissenlit, which means, my dictionary said, the French speak simply, pee in bed. Toilets. Supposing men put firmly down the toilet seats they find around. Suppose they realized it makes light the hearts of women at the sight. Suppose they knew that germs of poo, when you flush that sloshy loo, travel widely, wrong or right, and lodge themselves wherever they fall, like in the toothbrush standing tall. Suppose the sound, a tempest squall, was shut away by putting flat all upstanding lids. That's that. Suppose the ugly potty gaping. Never was a girl's gaze raping, but the monster was kept shut, happily, like bulls in rut. She is not obliged to see each and every time she pees. Suppose as well someone invented a button to push, how heaven-scented, which from any room, you see, raised or lowered the lid, hands-free. I think this not beyond the ken of clever space-age modern men. Bitching. Supposing women didn't screech in bedroom, kitchen, at the beach, trying to control their kids, or blame their Harry, Tom, or Sid for something he did not or did. Women, when you yell so loud, you're coating lovers with a shroud they will seldom dare to pierce. Instead, they might sometime get fierce just to throw your voice off from its barking, bitching cough. Here's a secret, though should not be. He is as vulnerable as we, but ours is shy between our thighs. So shy, like little baby fawns, or shyer still, like roots of trees far below the slopes of lawns. His shyness is a different sort. Beneath the navel is the port to his emotion-feeling world, which is so robust in a girl. In him it's quieter than night, hiding so far out of sight, deeper than an orphan's plight, far too sensitive to fight. Fighting's from another place, never from this tender vase, where you your feeling flowers can put if they do love your man. For poles reverse themselves, you see, up and down the human tree, so that we can link and buzz. Electric sockets, soft as fuzz. Silent men. Oh, women, women, we who burble, night and day our heartful warble, wishing that our silent men would say a word to answer then. Here's a thought. Well, you could try it. Experiment. You needn't buy it. When sitting with him in the vehicle, working his funny bone to tickle, and silent he is like an icicle, and you think, "Grr, I'll ride my bicycle." Just fall silent. Do not speak, though you feel you'll spring a leak. Silent sit and feel the spell of life lived speechless. Deep's the well where your soul will finally swing above a speechless breathing spring. This is mystery, women dear, and if you meet it without fear, you'll feel that humming which has rang in between the yin and yang. Then burble with your girlfriends all, gossip, screech, and have a ball. Uncover every secret, all. Enjoy guilt-free sharing's thrall, and leave him home to contemplate. Why squeaketh still the garden gate? How tractor driving is so innate? Whose lawn he'd like to emulate? Which politician's second-rate? How best could be arranged the state? The goddess breasts he'd like to date. He'd like a beer, so why to wait? Or any other things he loves, but feels no need of speaking of. It might be, too, that he enjoys, as well as rumbling with the boys, on whatever subjects dear make them grin from ear to ear. It might be just he loves your voice when you're laughing or are poised to praise him for his good employ of his carpentry toys. He might like your incidental chatterings on subjects mental, just to hear your sound is nice, and were you quieter than mice, who are not really quiet things while they're chewing in the wings, he might feel something was amiss. Try both. Do not expect. Then kiss.